Hi, I hope everyone's fine. I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, tonight's topic, well, it isn't the lightest topic in the book. So before starting this, I had to play some Colum R. McGinnis, because his music just, it lightens my mood, makes me happy, and, I just needed that before starting this topic. And if you know his music, then you know why I say what I say. Because I'll just say it like this. As a woman, I really do appreciate the low notes that man hits. As a woman, I am grateful unto God and His Son Jesus Christ, the author and finisher of my faith, for the low notes that man hits. Okay, and I'm not even going to say, oh, tried to tell you that. No, I'm grateful to God for that. And for those who know exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying. So, the topic today is natural disaster versus a nurture disaster. Now, we all know what natural disasters are. At least if you're, I would say, given the internet, by age 10, you know what a natural disaster is. You probably know before then, honestly. Well, the nurture disasters, unlike the natural disasters, which also could be called an act of God, a nurture disaster occurs when the family, the community, including church, mosque, temple, wherever you worship, has failed to nurture things in certain people that would enable them to survive, that would empower them to thrive, that would give them tools to handle their own business by themselves. And that's a nurture disaster. That's what creates a nurture disaster, I should say. How can I put this? We're raising weak adults. We are raising weak adults because we have created a culture where everybody gets a trophy. Oh, you participated, you're a winner. No, 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 no. That's not how life works. In races, there are winners and losers. And even the Bible says we gotta run this race. So, yeah, I don't believe it actually calls it a race, but it does say something about you. Did Paul say when he talked about you started well, what hindered you? So, yeah, pretty much we know where the start point, we know that there's an end. Even the end for us should be, if you're a believer in Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, everlasting life, with Him in glory. But it doesn't always turn out that people believe that. A lot of times we try to tell people these days that the attempt is the success. Hear me, we have told children these days that the attempt is success, so that they don't even aim for completion of anything. You ever have, like, maybe a friend or two, and, you're talking, and you say, well, I'll start this book, and, finally got to the end of it, but you had that one friend that never finishes anything. Book, hobbies, even their career, they keep jumping from one thing to the next. They never finish anything. It's because we've raised children to believe that the attempt is a success, whether the attempt is successful or not. The attempt is just the beginning of the journey, because once you attempt, you may, and I have to use the dreaded F word, you might fail. And what to do when failure happens. So that's what we're leaving out. We're raising children to believe they can never fail, and when they do, they run back home with the toes between their legs, and parents, pet, or whoever is totally taking care of them. It's not always parents. Cuddle them and coddle them and tell them, it's okay, 'cause you tried. What are you, 2? Matter of fact, the way I was raised, we don't even say that to 2-year-olds. Because you want the child to know that, yeah, try again. You don't just leave the child with one attempt or a half-hearted attempt to be like, oh, Some things you can let go, some things are not important, but you can't get into a habit of letting everything go and telling the person, oh, that's all right. No, not everything's going to be all right. And sometimes, whether you like it or not, if you opened your mouth to commit to something, you want to stand by what you say. Now, once again, if you open your mouth to commit to something, you should at least, let's be honest, if a child makes a commitment that's about 6 months to a year, and after the first week, they don't want to continue, but you've already paid, you may not go through the whole 6 months to a year, but you will go through beyond a week, especially if your parents paid. Aren't you grateful that they had money to pay for you? Aren't you proud of the fact that they believe in you to do this? But no, it's too hard. And that makes you find you like, oh, why are you hating on a kid? No, I'm not hating on a kid. But I realized that a child would not stay a child for very long. I know we're like, but there's 18 years to legal adulthood. No. There's 18 years to legal adulthood. But before you hit legal adulthood, certain things should click for you. Number one, I'm sorry to say that people die. And that people die in a variety of ways. Some not even due to their own fault or negligence. Some due to their own fault or negligence. And then you have a weird category of just astronomical probability of that happening to any human being in life, and that happened to someone. And the other thing that people need to be considerate of, beyond the fact that people die, is you will grow old and you will die. Now, when I remember, I don't know whether this was 30-something or it was way years ago when I was in there, and there was an elderly lady. She was sitting in a chair, she had on a pink nightgown, she was knitting something, and the other people in the room were about 30-something. They were arguing about something, about somebody's parent. And the woman just goes, we come in as children, we leave as children. All we ask for in between is to be treated with respect. That's what she said. And mind you, I was a child when I heard that, but it stuck with me because I'm like, wait, it's true. You come in as a baby, unable to feed yourself, clothe yourself, change yourself. You depend on someone for every aspect of your well-being in your life. Now, if you're lucky to live long enough, you will again need someone to take care of every aspect of your life in order for you to survive. So in between, all you want is for people to just treat you with basic human dignity and respect. That's all. That's the bare minimum. Especially for people you're related to. But these nurture disasters, and it can happen the other way. Either you coddle them too much, you placate them, you treat them as children even when they're 40, or you go the other way. Your child's 8, you don't care. You were actively telling the child that everything they tried to talk to you about is a you problem. You put the onus back on them for everything, even though a lot of things aren't even in their control. They're only but so tall. And you neglect them, telling them that whatever they need, they just need to spit it out, or you don't have time for this, you don't have time for that. That's also what helps create nurture disasters. Now, there are people in your life that can be one or the other of those two categories. Either they coddle you and won't let you grow or breathe, or they thrust you out of the nest before you're fully out of the egg. So, there are things that we need to consider. What is a nurture disaster? I'll say it. When a school has a lockdown emergency because an intruder has entered with a weapon requiring, well, can I say this? Whatever, I'm not even monetized on YouTube, so let me just say school shooters. That is one of the biggest, most prominent, and most frequently occurring nurture disasters that I see happening. But that's not the only one. We've seen dozens of nurture disasters. School shootings are the biggest and most glaring, unavoidable instances of a nurture disaster. But you can have nurture disasters that occur that only affect families. Are you or do you have a spouse, sibling, parent that everything has to be about them? Everything. You can't have nothing in your life that doesn't have to revolve around them. Not include them. We always, well, I'll say it this way. Most people like to include friends and family when they celebrate. Some of you may not have family that you would want into. Some of you have made a family where you're at. And to that I say, God bless you. I salute you, and I'm so proud of you for taking the initiative to do what was right for you, your peace, and your well-being. I applaud you for that. But that person that doesn't want anybody to, it's actually, I'll say what I've been talking about with my friend Geeta Devi about how some people are just so afraid to be alone that even though they're not at the right capacity or level to be somewhere, they will forcibly interject themselves into a situation so that they can be in the midst of others and not feel alone. Which is like the most benign reason for that behavior, but I really don't believe that's the reason. Although that could be part of it for someone I know who's like that. That's definitely part of it. But the other thing is fear of losing control. So, everybody has to think about you and stealing you. Oh my goodness. I was just on YouTube before starting this a little while ago, and this woman who was a twin, and she had an older sister, and then her twin sister and her. The older sister constantly was jealous of everything that the one twin did. Not the twin telling the story, the other twin. Because they got engaged around the same time, but not intentionally. The older sister kept saying that the other twin was trying to steal her thunder, and all this weird crap. Instead of being like, oh, we can do this together, and it's so fun. Or, you know what, you have your thing, and then I'll do my thing either the next month or 2 months later to give you your time or whatever. But no, the older sister, now mind you, the oldest, the one born before the twins, when she found out that the one twin was pregnant at the same time as her, got so pissed that she wanted to have 2 baby showers. One in the same city that both twins lived, but excluded the other twin because the other twin was also pregnant at this time. So she didn't want the other twin, once again, stealing her thunder. So she wanted to have 2 baby showers so that she could have one where the other twin lived, because she still wanted the other twin there, but not the not the twin that had stolen her thunder. And then another one, more to where her husband's family lived. What? I gotta tell you that around the time of the older sister's second baby shower, the twins went into labor. Well, actually, before she went into labor, had to be hospitalized for preeclampsia and ended up delivering a baby just 2 pounds because it was like way early and nearly died. And so the twin calls up Clara, who's the older sister in the story, goes, hey, won't be able to make it. Twin had baby, nearly died, still wanting for them to recover, and, we don't want to leave because they're still in the hospital. It's really touch and go. What does Clara do? But with this other twin who was telling her this, she just began to cry, said okay, and hung up. Because her family would not be able to make it to the second baby shower. Mind you, they had the first one. Everybody made it to the first, except the sister. She didn't want to be there. So you're about ready to have baby shower number 2 for the same baby. I mean, I had to go back and rewind to play that out. For the same baby. And when your sister said she can't come